Zooms, we won't be able to see comments like you won't be able to see them. I'm going to pull them up on my screen on my other computer. Okay, so we are live on all 5, 6 platforms. Okay, and we got a new friend in the house, and she stayed up real late, and we've been just visiting, and we're going to get to know her. And she's got some great art, and it's early in the morning for me. You know me, I'm always going to tell you straight up. This is where I'm at. So we're going to put our intro on for a second and allow people time to come in because it is an early show. It's not our normal hours, but we're happy to be here. We're happy to be expanding awareness of Karen Elsworth and the work that she's doing. So give us about a minute and 19 seconds, and we'll be right back. How's it going, everybody? I just got to put a little my Merlin spray on. Thank you, Melina Ferguson. I feel like Peter Pan this morning, which is not abnormal. We got Karen Elsworth in the house. She resonated with me immediately because when I saw that portrait on the back over her right shoulder, I recognized my uncle from an earlier life. We're not on Restream today. We are multi-streaming, but we're not using the studio at Restream because I want to be able to share the screen, and we're going to look at some of Karen's stuff. So we won't be able to see comments unless you're on YouTube or you're on Todd Medina Facebook page. And I think that was the Angels. That was some kind of signal. Oh, hang on a second. Eckhart Tolle just came on.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what that was about. Okay, we're good. Todd's going to pull his head out. All right, let's go here. Okay. Yeah, that was weird. I heard a bell. I thought it was you, and I thought you were doing some kind of blessing or something. Real quick hello to some of these fine people. Janice Amoria. It's good to see you. Gayatri. It's good to see you. Andy Hannah. Delia. Zana, and who else? Okay, Terry Willette. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot more coming in. Thanks for coming in. If these shows support, if these shows resonate with you, please share because we are getting suppressed, and I'm still working on our website, which I think is going to come off in Sedona when we're there the second half of this month. So, Karen, welcome to Soul Speaks 5D. Thank you for coming in and honoring us with your presence. It's a good way to change speed, have somebody come on and take a look at their stuff. Because I know just from looking at that one painting I was kidding about, you're downloading this stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
And how did that start for you? I mean, did you have like a reawakening? Was this part of your reawakening? Or were you always an artist? I mean, how did that go for you?
Yeah, I was always an artist, but it wasn't really until I woke up that I started painting. I guess you could say channel painting, and I really kicked into to this whole work in the early 90. 93, 90, 90, 94
To
is when I
this?
do my first spirit guide, my own one.
Wow.
And I think that was like my main awakening. And I realized that I needed to bring my art in that direction. And then it was a bit of a journey from then on to connecting with the ones I'm connecting now. That was later on.
So
It's been a long path. So
I was going to say, yeah, most of the people I talk to, I would say probably at least half are on or about 2012, like me. And then I'd say probably another, the other half of the other half would be, like 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then there's a 20, 25% that it's like my wife started in 1999. I've had people on the show was 1975, 1967, but quite a few of them in the 90s and late 80s after the harmonic convergence.
Yeah.
So you started in the early 90s. You're already an artist, so you're already considered by society to be a weirdo. And then you start having a reawakening. So what you said, the first one that you did was a spirit guide.
Yeah, that was my own guide. Yeah.
Now was that the first face of the universe that started talking to you? And did it happen at that time, or had you had communion with the spirit guide prior?
It was all just visual to start with this one. And so I wasn't channeling then. I wasn't like doing any communication in that way. But she manifested as a female to me, a beautiful big being that showed me a whole lot of things and took me out kind of exploring, on a dimensional journey. We'd go out together in meditation. It was amazing.
So it's in the early 90s. You're a painter or an artist.
Mm.
This spirit guide pokes her head in the door and says, "Hey, the world isn't the world isn't what you think it is. Let me remind you who you are, and let's go take a trip." This is something like that.
Well, kind of. I was reading a lot of books beforehand, and so I was already kind of aware of things, and I did a bit of work on opening my chakras and that kind of stuff. And I met a lady who talked to me about spiritual things, and she was my at the time my boyfriend's auntie, I think, and she said, "Oh, you have a spirit guide with you, and you need to paint her, and you're going to be painting guides later on." And
wow.
And I just said, "Oh no, I can't do that." I just didn't think I could do it. I just couldn't see how I could do that. But yeah, it came to be.
But this is way back. I mean, that's way back for
ages. It was ages.
So that would be what, like 17 and 20. I mean, you're talking almost 40 years. So this is amazing. Now, did the as you started to put let's say, like in this case, this spirit guide on canvas, did it heighten the communication? Were you getting more messages, or did it go into other essences or star family or elementals or whatever else started to show itself to you?
Yeah, that started later on with the star family and the elementals. So I think for the beginning, it was just me getting to know this other aspect of myself, or guide, or whatever you want to, call that energy, and just really opening up. And I had a lot of work to do. So, I had a lot of clearing to do, and I had a lot of karma to clear up, and all of that stuff that I went on to do after that. And I moved over to Waiheke Island. I just needed to get away from the world that I'd been involved with. I was you're doing things that you do when you're younger. You'd go out drinking and all that kind of stuff. And I needed to get away from all that, because I was really feeling the call to connect with my spiritual self. So I moved to Waiheke Island and I left my job, and I entered into a sculpture course, a clay course. I just felt this really crazy urge to sculpting clay at that point. And I don't know where that was coming from, but it was just in me. and I made this head. It was like this head was like, it looked like a, you know, an extraterrestrial head.
Now,
And
this is still in the early 90s? Is this still in
um,
the, or nine? Still in the
yeah.
90s.
It was still in the 90s.
So you
Um,
make it, you
would
make
have
it an
been,
you make an extraterrestrial. The reason I ask some of these questions is because there's a lot of people waking up that are having weird experiences, thinking that they're like you probably did, thinking that they're like the, you know, the lone wolf and no one else is going through it.
yeah,
But so
yeah.
you start sculpting an extraterrestrial your star family type of head. Are you thinking at the time what it is, or even getting any kind of?
I was like looking at it thinking, oh my gosh, what is that, you know? But it just felt it felt right. And yeah. So I moved over to Waiheke to do this clay course. And I also, I wasn't, it wasn't really the main reason I was going. I needed to get away from everyone and just really, really connect. And I moved to a beautiful little place in Trigg Hill Road in Onitangi in the bush. And it was really, really secluded. And it was beautiful, really, really beautiful. And I moved there with my daughter, and because I was raising her by myself. And yeah, it was great. It was great. That's and I just started meditating all the time, and I connected, you know, further with this
No,
group of beings that were there. Yeah.
oh, there was a group of beings there.
Yeah, the group of beings that were coming in. Yeah.
Okay, let's back up a little bit because I want to just, I don't want to miss this one thing that you said. So you said that the first spirit guide came in. Well, you were told through a psychic or a medium, which is pretty common for you folks out there that might see this, that are just waking up. You can believe these mirrors that come to you. You know, you've always got to discern for yourself. But so this person came in and said, you're going to be painting these. You have a spirit guide. Then you said you had to make this move, but you said I had to do a lot of work. I had to clear a lot of stuff, and I know you're talking about shadow work, inner work, zero pointing. But in regard to that, did the guide, or was it the books or whatever? What led you to know that you needed to do that as a prerequisite to keep going down
Oh,
this road?
yeah. Well, actually, my guide was showing me because you know, she'd show me a few different things. She'd show me dreams. Like I asked her to show me dreams, and some of them I didn't understand, and so I said, look, you need to make it really clear to me. I had this really, really vivid dream that this giant hand came down to the earth and just plucked up this big onion. And it was like just hanging there with, you know, the mud on it still. And I thought, oh, wow, you know, that means something.
Yes, it does. What does it mean? But that's how it works, isn't it? Isn't that how it
Yeah,
works? They give
yeah.
you this thing. They're like, okay, now what does that mean? They're like, you figure it out. So, but so that's good. So you were guided first to clear zero point, shadow work, alignment, and that type of thing. And I think that's important, you know, for
Yeah.
people, you know, to remember that it's not all that stuff up there, because we can get caught up in that, you know, and we can over identify with it. But yeah, it's always it comes down to what you were describing. Now, you then said that you kind of, and I know it's normal for you because, you know, I can just tell. Plus, you've been doing it so long. So when this group, was it a group? Was it like an energy complex, a particular planetary? Star family, you know, species, or how did that go? I mean, you sculpted this ET looking head, and then I would assume they were coming in, otherwise you wouldn't have been doing it. All right. So they stepping up and speaking to you? Are you clairaudient, clear with the eyes? I mean, how do you pick up on this? Is it a feeling, a knowing, images?
Um, yeah, I get a bit of a feeling and a knowing, but I can hear them when they speak.
Mm.
Like they use
Yeah.
telepathy.
Yeah.
and I can see them. I can see through my third eye if they come into my awareness. It sounds weird. It's like they're not coming into the physical, but I might see them here. Like say I'm just sitting here and I might see a being there. But that hasn't happened that often. It's more that I'm just tuning in, meditating, tuning in and meeting them. And that's where I see them the most. Yeah.
Did it at what point did you say you know, I'm not in Kansas anymore? Like when did you say, you know what, there's a lot more to the earth, you know, in terms of the universe, and there's a lot more to Karen than just being here, you know, and being a conscious human being. I mean, you mentioned that you went into dimensional travels with your first spirit guide. When did you, or did you already know that? Were you always a unicorn?
Well, I probably was because yeah, it wasn't like a real shock or anything. It was amazing, and I just wanted to just go for it, you know. And I just thought I was, you know, I was just having visions with the third eye. It wasn't a, yeah, I didn't freak out. In
Yeah.
fact, I just wanted more. I just wanted to
Yeah.
find out everything I could, and it, yeah,
Same
yeah.
here. How about past life memories? Was that much of an impact on you? Or did you even have any?
Um, yeah, yeah, probably. Although I would see things visually and kind of put two and two together. Um, and you know, then, but I think the thing with me is like I went through a stage when I got really, really, really ungrounded, and because I was so far out there, and I just felt so much more at home there than I did on the earth, and I didn't really want to be here anyway. Um, and so yeah, I tended not to look at the it took me a while to just work through some stuff because I didn't want to be here. I
Yeah.
didn't want to
Yeah.
look at stuff, and I didn't want to, you know.
See, everybody, that's normal.
Yeah.
We've all been there. I think the
Yeah.
worst part of that's probably over, but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
and that's the thing too. You know, I want to make that point. You know, just because you wake up doesn't mean you're not going to want to leave or have a bad day every now and then, because it does happen, right?
Yeah.
Even now,
Yeah.
uh, Day is part of our Soulogy crew. She's over in the Bay Area, in California. She's got a question. She says, when you get, and I think this is a great question because it's not just applying to an artist, but to people, to, you know, when they want to put up a post on or share what they've received. She says,
Mhm.
Karen, when you get information too fast, it kind of, you know, comes in like so fast, and you feel the need to bring it into art, how do you slow it down to see the energetic message and create it into art? Do you ever get information coming in so fast you just like slow it down? Uh, or you know, have you ever had that feeling when you're getting the information, you want to hurry up and write it down or hurry up and put it on the canvas? How do you make that transition? How do you make that seamless?
Well, I just do a sketch. Like if I've seen something, I'll sketch it out, and I'll even make notes because I know for me that it can just go if you leave it for a while.
Yeah.
And then when I'm going to go paint it, I just tune back into that energy and I reconnect with what was given, because it happens like when you're meditating and when you're going out there, you're going out of time. So it's like it's um, explain what I'm saying. It's like that's an out of time
Yeah.
experience. So you can revisit it. It's always there.
That's
It's
right.
not like
Right.
in the
It's like a,
past or
yeah,
anything like
right.
that. It's yeah. It's
That's a good
just
explanation. That's a great
yeah.
explanation. And that
Yeah.
really goes for, you know, I asked her about past lives and, you know, these communions or connections that come in, spirit guides show themselves, divine essences, star family, past. I mean, the bottom line is it's all code. You know, it's all
Yeah.
something. It's provided you with something to reawaken, remember, you know, that type of thing. And you know, again, I think that's a great. I think you did. That's a great explanation.
I would
And go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say that I would say that, like, if you're receiving a message from a guide or a being or something like that, and the information is coming through like that, and you feel like you can't absorb it, it's probably a good idea to let them know and just tell them and ask them to adjust your energy field, maybe, so they can slow it down a bit or work with you.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
And that that's very true too with a lot of people I've talked to. And if I look at my own experience, you can tell them to slow down. You can tell them no. You can tell them I need a day off. You can tell them just like you do. I need some help. I mean, I've had a lot of those come to Jesus meetings with the universe. Like, I'm out here in the middle of the country in the middle of winter. I've got a suitcase, $4, and I'm busting my ass every day. Can you please, send me a lightning bolt or something? Either hit me in the head, take me out, or, show me the bucket of gold at the end of the rainbow. Yeah. But the point is that there is an interaction there. We're not at the mercy of the universe. We're actually co-creating this, aren't we?
We are. Yeah, definitely.
Did you ever get freaked out? I have a feeling you didn't, because you seem to be, like my wife, you seem to be ET anyway, ET in the flesh, right? But did you? So it's because it's one thing to have a spirit guide come in. That's almost like I guess it all is a part of you, but it's almost like a little piece of you. It's very familiar to me. It is. I had three. One was the mind, one was the heart, and one was kind of the spirit. But when you start having specific, unique, or let's just say more unique faces of the universe start talking to you, especially if they have a little bit of a galactic flavor to it, it starts to change everything. Did you ever get freaked out, like when it first happened? Did you ever like, I don't know about this. Did this really happen? And the follow up to that, was it a specific star family that was knocking on your door?
I think so, but although they never really presented themselves that way. And I never thought, I know this is weird, but I never really thought to ask. It's just they just felt like I knew them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have a couple of experiences that were a bit strange. Like one of them was when I was over in Waiheke, and I was meditating on the beach with a friend late at night, and I just went right out there, and it's like they took me to this space, and it was one of the ones in the green cloaks that has the green eyes, and they're kind of like a really deep green eyes, like emerald green eyes, really beautiful eyes, and they're kind of like got I want to say tan skin, but and they're very tall and very 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 long, very kind of elegant looking. But they were showing me diagrams and things, and they were showing me the earth, and they were it's like they had props, and they were doing all this stuff, and it's like I was in this other space, and I felt like they'd taken me somewhere. Anyway, I was there for ages.
Wow.
And when I came back, my friend had been waiting for like over an hour, like maybe an hour and a half even, and she was saying, oh, I was getting really sick of waiting for you to come back, and I didn't feel like I'd been gone very long at all, like maybe 20 minutes.
So you actually physically stepped away?
I'm out of body, like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you were still there, so she could see you when she. Yeah. It's not like you left or
no,
you were.
But I think I leave my. Just off.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah, it was powerful.
So and was it like geometric looking stuff? These these things they were showing you as they were showing you.
Yeah, they showed me some of that, and they showed me like Earth, and they were letting me know about the changes that were coming up and different things happening. Yeah.
That was my next question. So, at some point, you were for all intents and purposes, downloaded the ascension. You were told this is what's going to happen, or this is what's happening years in advance. Like,
yeah, I know. And I kind of wonder about that at times, because I felt like it was too early, like people didn't really want to know about it. Like, a lot of my friends thought I was nuts, and my sister didn't like me talking about it at the time.
So like I mean, I can't even imagine this, because I mean, I like, I know people that, yeah, like, like my wife, she started in 1999. She was instructed to write. This would have been like 2011, 2010, and nobody was paying attention.
Yeah.
And so I can see, and I've had other people come on and talk about the same thing, particularly women that, opened up the channel in, like, say, late 90s. But so what, like, your sister didn't want you talking about it. Like, what were you trying to tell her? Were you trying to tell her we were having this massive awakening? There was going to be an event or things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said, you're freaking everybody out.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the club.
I mean, she's cool with it now, but that was ages ago. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so I mean, it goes without asking, or saying, really, that you were a kind of a way shower's way shower, a forerunner's forerunner. And I'm sure you went through the same patterns. They thought you were crazy. You were estranged from them, your family, and all that good stuff, right? And then following the guidance that's putting you in situations that don't make any sense, or telling you to go to a direction that doesn't make any sense, but you do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of learn the rule of the road is, if it doesn't make any sense to society and you're being told to do it, then you better do it, because you're going to probably have a pretty good outcome. So did this continue, like, as you got into, and as everyone was catching up with you, like, say, in the last, say, just 6 or 7, 8 years, did the communication continue? Did it expand? Did it get more detailed, more specific?
It did for a while. And then I started. I got to meet. There's like a group of them, and I started to see the different ones. And I'd be meditating every day, and they'd just come and be with my energy. And I was like, making all these little sculptures of like ET figures and. Yeah,
Really?
and I did that for quite a while, and I was drawing too, but I was mostly using chalks and pastels and things. Um, and I did the Merkaba, Macabre
Octahedron?
course. Yep, activated that, and that's when I started getting all the past life stuff, and things just accelerated from that. And I also got kind of ungrounded as well, but that's just something I needed to learn.
Well, and I think that's another good point too, because whether it be a one-time activation, or you took a course, or you get a download, um, it tends to go like that, right? I mean, you have the whatever occurs, the information or the transmission, and then you kind of have to integrate it. I mean, a lot of people talk about grounding, but yeah, I know things have changed a lot, since, I don't know about prior to 2011, but I know the speed of our abilities to process has moved a lot quicker. Our ability to hold information, code, and light, and comprehend at least part of it, that's expanded. But yeah, I think that's a good point too. And again, just reiterating it, because what she's gone through, what she's describing, there's people going through it right now. and they might not have found soulogy yet, so they think they're the only one out there. So and I wanted to ask you too, because I've never really been a traditional meditator. I was in my early 20s, but for some reason, unless I'm laying flat, horizontal on a bed, I'm almost useless trying to sit down and meditate by conventional standards. But I have a lot of respect for it, and I know a lot of people that do it. Do you feel like the meditation was an important factor in your ability to connect? You said that when you meditate, they would come around, sit with you, and that type of thing.
I definitely do. Yeah, I do. It has been for me, and I feel that if I don't meditate, I just start feeling like there's something wrong. It just doesn't feel good. I need to keep it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Go ahead. I have a lag. Go ahead.
It's okay. It's just and just connecting to that universal light energy is that's how I connect to it too. And I know it's within us and it's all around us. But when you go within and you really feel the energy, you can feel it coming into you and filling you,
Yeah.
and reviving you and accelerating you. And I think that's an important thing to do. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and I think too, like, because if I listen to you, I can, I guess I go there. I don't know what it is, but it's almost like each time you do it, you're getting more and more familiar with, the different energies. Maybe are you able to tell the difference between them, and
Mm.
it becomes, you get more clarity, that type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Definitely.
Very cool.
Definitely.
So, yeah, this is really no. So, what's your, like, as you're popping through since the early '90s, and nobody's ready yet, which probably made you more of a recluse. Like, I'm just going to stay out of everybody's way,
Yeah, yeah, it did.
right? It's kind of like with the quarantine. It's funny because all the they had those memes going out there. I've been an empath for 20 years. My life's not changing. I'm home by myself all the time anyway. But
Yeah, yeah,
but once you started to see that this was starting to get some traction, and post 2012, and you're starting to see that more and more people are talking about it. I mean, I bet that must have made you feel good.
yeah, it did actually. Yeah. Um, yeah. I also did a weird thing. I after while I was still in Waiheke, I connected with I started entering into a few relationships that looking back now, I know that I obviously needed to go and deal with some stuff like, a bit of extra karma and things that I needed to do. And so I kind of, and then I went through some really intense stuff in a relationship that kind of left me a bit, I don't say broken, but, kind of really messed up. And yeah, I detoured off the path a little bit.
Yeah.
I decided I needed to get more fully grounded in the earth and deal with whatever issues I might have. And I don't know, just try and get more stable on the earth too. And I did an arts degree. I did a whole lot of different stuff. I did an arts degree, and yeah, I kind of didn't actually connect back in with them again until um, probably 2011. I got another big call to come back in. I was sculpting a lot, and I got a back injury, and I needed to take a break of everything, and I just felt like I needed to get back to my spiritual roots again. So, but I think I was being called back,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it was time. Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Around
Yeah.
that time, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There certainly was a big push then. And
Yeah.
so, like, we talked about this right before. We're going to take a look at her website and possibly her Facebook page, and to look at some of the pieces that she puts out. But I'd asked you before we started the show, or I just assumed that it made sense to me that these are channeled pieces. These aren't just you sitting down going, "Oh, I wonder what I want to do today." I mean,
Yeah.
you're actually, this is part of your, this is part of your contribution, your expression of your own intimacy with, infinite intelligence, with the universe. But that has it always been that way? I mean, you said you were an artist, your spirit guide came in. I guess at that point, everything kind of changed and it became kind of a group effort. Would that be a good description?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got one of the beings that I connect with that actually works with me while I'm painting as well.
Mm.
And there's another one too that helps with the connections. Like if somebody wants me to tune in for them, and they'll work with me together. It's like we set this thing up, and it's like a pyramid that appears between me and the other person, and then I visualize them there. And if I don't see them, I just visualize them as an outline, like how you get the icons on Facebook when there's no face there. It's kind of like
that. Okay, I got you.
See someone there, and I just tune in, like I've got the name or the energy. It's nice to have a photo, but anyway. And so they work with me in that, and I tune in and paint the aspect of them that's wanting to come through.
Right.
Yeah.
And have you had much interaction with elemental energy, like fairies, elves, the elders, the Sasquatch, or even nature beings? Like for me, like the wind and trees for me are big. Have you had much interaction with them, and do they come through in your art?
The fairies have occasionally. They used to come through a lot more in the sculpture. And I've seen a couple of them just appear. But mostly it's the galactics and the light beings now. But I love nature, and I feel, I just feel so connected when I'm in the forest and in the bush, just going for a walk. I just feel like I really need that energy, and I feel there definitely is a strong connection there.
I'm just curious because and this is for personal reasons, but has that that need or that necessity to get out there, be around nature, has it kind of increased for you in the last couple of years? Like yes. I mean, because for me, I'm getting it really bad, over this, as the months go by. I almost feel like I'm suffocated.
Yes.
If I'm in the house and the window, I want to open a window or something, it's just, and I'm noticing it more and more. I'm thinking, what is this? What is this exactly? But it's almost like I'm not being allowed to sit indoors for an extended period of time. It's not going to, like I'm being told, if I had to interpret it, because I don't get words all the time, it would be something like, you might as well get used to it, because this particular type of lifestyle is not going to be available anymore. So no more laying on the couch. God, I was going to ask you something else too. So I was asking you about the elementals, and you were talking about the star family and the light beings. I know what I was going to ask you. Now, you mentioned that earlier. You said before I started channeling. So do you channel for yourself? Do you channel through the paintings? Do you channel verbally for others? Do you do sessions with people? Is that a part of it? Can you kind of explain to us that part of it?
Yeah. I do a 20, 30 minute, it's usually around 20 minutes session where I'm tuning in, and it's like a process. It starts off that I see things and I explain what I'm seeing, and then I start getting information, and quite often the beings will just speak to the person. They give them a healing, or they tend to put them in like an energy sphere, and do some work on the body, like an energetic work quite often, and realign them to the energy connection for them. And that's a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing, and it feels amazing just feeling all the love and beautiful energy coming through for the people. So it's a gift in itself, really, to be able to do it.
And this is another example. I'm not being presumptuous, but I have a feeling this is another example of following guidance. I mean, you didn't just like wake up one day and go, "Oh, I think I'm going to be an energy practitioner." It was some. So what's kind of cool though is it's a part of you. I can tell by the way you're talking. It's an important part of you, and I guess I would imagine that there's times when you incorporate the art with the energy sessions or the working with people. Does it ever come together?
Yeah. So So yeah, I'll draw the being that's with the person that I've been connecting in with.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's like and people say, well, it's my guide, but I'm feeling more it's an aspect of their soul, it's an aspect of their dimensional self, like, because we're multidimensional. So I feel it's becoming more like this, that I'm picking up on an aspect of their dimensional self that they're needing to connect with for work that they might be wanting to do, reconnecting with an energy that they're able to use here.
Mm.
Because, things have changed and the energy's changed and the frequency is getting higher and
Yeah.
more energy's available, and the healing and everything. It's all, yeah.
And yeah, I totally get that. So you're kind of like a well, I don't think you can really make it a singular thing, but part of it is you're like a switchboard operator, and so you
Yeah,
can
thank
plug
you.
them into, because that's what I see, like
Yeah.
those old switchboards. You get all these wires going in. You're like, okay, what's needed now? But on from your end of it, because I've talked to a lot of energy practitioners, and I'm married to one, and uh, hearing them describe, you know, what's happening, in that fusion of the physical and the non-physical is always interesting to me. So that's what you're working with out there. Who, what? Because I, what I'm gathering is that you've connected a lot of these wires and facilitated your own connections. And so when
Mm.
you go into this state, I guess whatever's needed, whatever part of your team's needed, steps up and works with you. Um,
Yeah.
so do you
But
consider?
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, it's
Go ahead.
okay. I was just going to say that they're doing the work, though. I feel like I'm just like the vessel that's sitting
Yeah,
here and explaining what's going on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, do you feel that these, as in this example, okay, or even from the first thing you talked about, the spirit guide, the first piece that you put in, put into a physical expression, all the way up to you're doing a session, you've got this team behind you or with you, or do you feel like they're aspects of you?
Yeah, I do. I think they are. Maybe not all of them, but they've actually mentioned that they are. So because
Yeah, yeah,
they say that we're your soul family,
yeah,
and or you'd refer to us as your star family.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm
That's yeah.
feeling that it is probably what it is.
Yeah, I like what you said too, most of the time, because I struggled with that before. And I had before I met Morgan. And then since we've been together, we've had, interactions that included apparitions and translucent beings, star family, and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, but I would always be like, okay, wait a minute. I know these are aspects of us because I can feel it, and they've made it clear at times. But then every now and then, someone pops in the room like Merlin, and you're like, oh, that's not. Is that me?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
confusing, and I
Yeah.
know ultimately we're all one, but
Yeah.
as we transition through this, there's levels of. I don't think it's levels of like, frequency. Well, maybe it is, but I think it has more to do with levels of being able to accept things,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
spirit in the beginning, for me was like 9 or 10 or 11 different, spirit guides, essences, and they all seemed very external. They
Yes.
they
Yeah.
weren't
Yeah.
internal, and as time
Yeah.
went on, they entered the body. Let's just say you embody it, I guess, is another way to put it. but
Mm.
uh but it's getting kind of weird now. I want to ask you how you feel about this, because you've been doing this so much longer. It's and I'll just draw like a metaphor, but uh so like you lay down in bed, you put your hands together, and I'm being, but to connect with the universe, right? And sometimes I do this now. I'm like, who the hell am I talking to? Because I'm talking to myself. Does that ever create any kind of a confusion in your head? Because I know this is me, I know that ended up being me. That spirit guide is me. Who am I talking
Yeah.
to?
Yeah. It doesn't anymore. It did for quite a while, because I thought, I just didn't get it. I thought that's just too weird.
Hmm.
For a long while, like you were saying, but it sort of gradually has become, I don't know, it just feels okay.
Yeah.
It just feels like, well, that can happen because this dimensional aspect of me that's here in the physical is not all I am, and
Right.
there are other bits of me, and they can come and help me out. Just like we might go back to a past life
Yeah.
and try heal that somehow. It's probably a bit the same,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. It's interesting. It really is. And I want to ask you too, before we jump onto your website, do you feel like, with everything that you've experienced and been shown and so on, what do you think's happening here? Do you think that part of what's happening here is that we're actually taking on this embodiment to the point where, regardless of the physicality of this dimension, that we're going to be able to do the things we do in dimension? You know,
Yeah.
yeah, in the physical.
Mm.
I mean, do you feel like that's a possibility, a potential, a reality? I mean, do you think that I'm going to be able to say, "Hey, you want to go have dinner on Mars tonight?"
And just
And then,
teleport there. Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? I mean, I wonder about that, because if I look at the pyramids, if I look at some of the intel I've received or I've read about, and I think, well, wait a minute, if that stuff was going on back then, you know,
Mm.
and that's certainly verifiable, some of this stuff, then what are the possibilities now? And of course, with telepathic communication and the internet's really heightened the ability to feel the impression of another person's energy back and forth, and Reiki, distance healing. I mean, it just seems to be the next step. I don't see us flatlining anymore. I don't know. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, I'd say it would be. We'd have to evolve a lot, but yeah,
Right on.
I do. I mean, I feel that we're also, we're shifting out of this physicality in a sense, like we're transitioning out from this idea about just being fixed in here and in this density.
Yeah.
And you know about the shift and the change in frequency and all of that.
Yeah.
You know, that,
Transition to the light body is another way to
yeah,
say it.
yeah,
That seems to be a big emphasis right now, is the body. It's like,
yeah,
I mean, I wake up every day and there's always something. My level, I can drink 4 or 5 glasses of water, and I wake up in the morning, I drink a coconut water, and by this time my skin starts drying out. You can just feel the moisture being sucked out. uh, don't eat this, eat this. I mean, there's just, the body really seems to be coming into play now. Have you
yeah,
experienced that this year?
definitely. I
Yeah.
have absolutely,
Yeah.
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 In the last week or even so, I've definitely been feeling a lot more stuff going on in the body as well.
Yeah.
So I think the energy's just getting really intense, and well, things are intense out there anyway, aren't they? But like yeah, I think there's a lot of energy that is fluctuating around.
Yeah. Definitely.
Mm.
Definitely. It's like a spaghetti bowl. It's all kind of it's almost like your headphones, when you have the headphones in and you put them in your pocket and they're all tangled, but
Yeah.
it's like it's all coming unraveled now, you
Mm.
know, and
Mm.
aligning. So let's go to your website. Is that cool?
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah.
I want to show people, at least in a few minutes before we get out of here, I want to show people, and I want to see it myself too. So let's see. Oh, hang on. Let me get this worked out.
Hope it's all looking good
I'm
in there.
sure.
I haven't
I'm
been in
sure
there
it'll
for a
be
little while.
fine.
Yeah.
I appreciate this portrait of my uncle that's on the front here. Let's see.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, did you paint that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. That's one of the ones I connect with.
Wow. That's
Beautiful
really,
energy.
yeah, I mean, you really capture a lot more than a likeness here. I mean, this is, I don't know why, but it's you can actually feel. Now, this is this one feminine or androgynous?
To me, it feels like a male, but I feel this
No.
is
Okay.
androgynous. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something soft about it. Maybe it's not the physicality or the gender, more of the energy of the
It's
being
like
itself.
yeah, it's like a feminine vibration.
Yeah.
And when I connected to this one, I I just felt such an expansion. I was just like totally expanded out somewhere in the universe, and the communication was coming through in words, but then with the words were like concepts and ideas, and it was amazing. And I remember feeling that like words felt like just making noise, and their expanded form of communication is so different.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
And I don't know too. It feels like a, I don't know. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, but to me, it's like Arcturian, very. I'm not saying specifically Arcturian, but a very, first of all, very highly intelligent, and second of all, very benevolent, like very, very warm. Very compassionate. Higher
yeah.
level of understanding, obviously, of unconditional love. I don't know. That's a powerful. That's a powerful one. So let's see. Let's jump into this and see. So where should I go here? Guide paintings, art prints, all
Yeah, probably
products.
guide paintings. I haven't got as many art prints as I would like
That's fine.
because yeah, I've
Oh
just been so
wow.
busy with the guide paintings.
Holy,
And
holy
they take
shiitake
ages.
mushroom.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is painting for individual clients. These paintings are examples and not for sale. Holy crap. Like this, oh, I was just gonna say that looks so Pleiadian over here.
It
The one that
is,
says
yeah.
Pleiadian and Lyrian,
Yeah.
Lyran guys. So like this one here, I guess can click on it? Yeah.
Sorry,
No.
that's not very big, is it? It's oh, never
It's
mind.
okay. I mean I can go, I
There's a
think
lot
the
of detail in there you probably can't
let's see.
see, but never mind.
Hang on a second. I mean, we can always, what does it say here? If I click this button, oh, I see you can share it. Okay. I don't know. Let me see if I can make it bigger. No, I guess I can't. Um, no, but I can see this. I can see like this. What is this around the third eye?
That's like a symbol.
It looks very familiar for some reason, and I can't figure out what it is. But
My glasses on, I can't even see from
yeah,
here. I
I don't
can't
know what,
remember.
it's almost like an angelic thing, but it's beyond angelic. I can see the,
This one was the being that came through from this central sun for someone.
well,
She had a connection in there, and yeah, it was wonderful.
yeah, that's fascinating. And the other thing too is, so there's obviously there's the likeness, but then there's all this other stuff in there. Like I can see some figures. I think I saw some light language looking stuff in the other picture on the front page.
Yeah,
So there's a lot more to it than, but the likeness of it seems to be spot on. Like look at the hands, the fingers, and then the neck. Now this one here is interesting.
yeah, that's a it's a light being. Um, she's actually Pleiadian light being that came
Wow,
through for someone.
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
And do you see when they come through? Now you're saying that when they come through, this is almost like a portrait of them, right? I mean,
yeah,
one of their aspects. So this is one of their aspects coming in to connect with them.
yeah.
And so, do you see them this clearly?
Not always at first, no.
Okay.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And this is kind of interesting because they're all different. It's like almost like they have a different personality. Like this one, I could see them pretty clearly when they came in. They were just like boom, right there. And
That's
then
powerful.
some of them, they just come in, they just kind of float in. I might just like have a hand there, and I'll see some energy coming through, and then some symbols, and then maybe they'll just come through a little bit more, and I'll get a glimpse of them. And then when I go to paint them, they'll come through stronger, and it's like, yeah, that's them.
These are
So
these are I've seen some, some different depictions and stuff, but I've never ever seen the I don't know, the detail. It's so much. Actually, these things are multidimensional themselves. They're not they're not just a picture or a painting of a being. There's so much more in there. There's like this one here. If I look at this one, crystalline diamond over here, and I know it's kind of small, but there's geometric shape here.
yeah,
There's just like here and here and here, like this. I mean,
yeah,
there's just, I mean, it's almost making my head hurt looking at them. They're speaking themselves. So I guess there's a reason that you're doing this. Isn't just you're pulling in information or pulling in code or connecting,
yes,
providing to an individual, but also there's, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I guess there's a collective. There's a collective. You could look at one of these things and pick up code. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Powerful.
yeah. It's like the energies in with the painting, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Look at this one. This one's wild. Now they all seem to have a. There seems to be a lot of blue. Number one, and that seems to be a big color for a lot of folks that tune into these shows. Blue, grayish blue. There is yellow gold. There's white, bluish white, but there seems to be a lot of blue. Which speaks of Pleiadian, the purples, Pleiadian, Syrian, Andromedan,
mm,
um,
mm.
and so on. And they also seem to be effeminate. Now, are they androgynous? Is there a reason? Do you feel that they're coming in primarily as, at least as so far, okay, is feminine looking?
I think it just depends on how they want to present
Yeah,
for the person.
yeah.
Um, a lot of it is that, yeah.
God,
Um,
can anybody say mind blown? Wow. I was sitting there marveling at these ones, and I dipped down to these three, and I'm almost like, okay, so this is Syrian right here. God, that's just like, it's so powerful. You can almost not. You almost have to look away.
yeah.
Am I the only one this is happening to?
Maybe
Wow.
it's good you're not blowing them up then.
No, I don't. I mean, I could
Really
sit
big
here.
because they're, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said light language, light speaking. Yeah, yeah. They're picking up on it too. I'm looking on the YouTube comments. Yeah, that's like a lot of people that come on, they'll offer me, you want to do a session, let me do this for you, and I do my own thing, or I do with my wife. I've always pretty much operated that way. But looking at your stuff, I mean, I'm not there yet, but I'm almost at the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna buy a session, because these I can't imagine as a client. I can imagine having a session, and I've been a client in a session many times, but I can't imagine having something to take with me that's a part of me. And that's really what you're doing for these people, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, I guess I am. Yeah, I hadn't really thought of it like that, even though it is like that. Yeah,
But it's an aspect of
it
them.
is. Yeah,
Oh my
it's quite
God.
an intimate thing. Yeah.
You get around the universe. Here's an Argathan.
Yeah, he was amazing. Yeah, I hadn't seen them before, so
Yeah.
that was special. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good depiction. It really is. In
Mm.
fact, and let me ask you this too, because you've gotten around the universe quite a bit. It looks like. So, have you had have you had a how do I say this? Have you had a growing sense of any of these star family as time's gone on? Like they're getting closer, they're getting closer. I'm getting that with the inner earth, but I'm not trying to ask you a leading question, but are you getting an impression that maybe we're going to see or feel or whatever one or two or three of these star families first? Are they working closer with us or that type of thing?
Yeah, I do. I feel like they are able to come in and work with us, definitely more so now than before.
My
Mm,
gosh,
yeah.
these are just like mind blowing. I'm going to be addicted to them. Now this is God. Look at this one. Command station of flight. Do you get much from people talk about the Galactic Federation? Do you get much from anything like that?
No, they don't.
Wow.
They don't address themselves as that to me, but they do
Okay.
say that they're um, with the Council of Light. So I think there's a connection in with that.
This one here, that's just, what is that? That's just like, whoa. That's like a
Yeah.
combination of Mother Goddess, Mother Nature, and Kali,
Oh
you
wow,
know?
that's amazing you say that because I the guy that I painted that for, he's really into the goddess energy and all of that, and he's yeah, that's a multidimensional being that I
Obviously,
saw with him. Yeah,
that's just wild.
yeah.
That's similar to what my wife morphs into sometimes when we're in a sacred sexuality session. I'm just kidding. But well, I like it because it captures, a lot of times we think of the goddess energy and
Mm,
it's Mother Mary and big props to Mother Mary and Magdalene energy and Kuan Yin and all that. But there is that holy darkness, that, and it's, you captured beautifully. Amazing.
thank you.
How many of these have you done?
I don't really know. I don't really count them.
Oh wow, look at
So I'm
that.
not sure, but
Wow. So this is at everybody, just so you know, this is at extradimensionalart.com. We're gonna good gosh, these are amazing. I'm just gonna check this out real quick without permission. Did it work? Wait a minute. Hang on. Huh, there it goes. Oh, prints. Okay, so you have some prints. Wow,
yeah,
did you
I
do
have
this?
not very many at all. So it's
Did you
kind of
do this one here?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a vision of that in meditation.
Holy crap. How in the hell did you do that?
It's
Is it
digital.
oh
It's
you did
I'm
it
a
digital.
digital artist, and I work on
Oh,
a tablet with a pen, so I draw it all. But you know, you have brushes, so they're like
yeah, but
oil brushes or acrylic brushes or air brushes or whatever, and they take ages because it's actually a really really big
I would
um,
imagine.
image, although it doesn't look like it. Like
But I
yeah,
mean,
so you
I'm just
cover all
looking
that
at
space with a
oh, yeah, I'm looking at this thing. I mean, I can understand it's digital art. Not that I've ever really done much other than play with, memes and stuff. But how do you get the detail of the being itself? That's just like it looks like you did it.
I just
Like
paint it. It's like I draw it, you know, like you draw, like with a pen.
so, you can actually capture the likeness to the degree, or maybe even greater than you can if you're doing it on a canvas, because
Yeah,
it looks that detailed. Wow.
yeah, they are quite detailed. Yeah, and they've become more detailed actually as I've gone on. But I think that's just progression, you know.
Good
Um,
gosh.
yeah, these were some paintings I did in conjunction with Sixtina. Um,
16 to
she's a
Frederick out of New York.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, who makes the
Yeah.
uh, crystal jewelry and the grid work. And so um, I tuned into her energy, and um, she created a grid, and I saw a being, and I put them both together.
Wow.
So
It's a small
it's
neighborhood.
kind of like the
That's
yeah, the
far out.
energy that she's connecting in with as well with her grids and
Wow, this is
lovely.
now, God, look at that. I can't blow this one up, but
No, it's a shame because it looks quite dark, so you can't kind of quite see
yeah.
everything because
Oh, you can see it
blue.
pretty good, but this part down in here, of course, it goes gray when I do that, but that part at the bottom is and I've seen a lot of channeled pieces, but that piece at the bottom is extraordinary. I mean, the whole thing's extraordinary. Don't get me wrong, but the way you lay that in there with the color and the detail, it's like an off-planet geometry kind of thing.
Yeah, that's her grid. Yeah,
It's far out. Very cool. Very cool. What a way to start the day. So, just remind everybody, this is the year of co-creation and collaboration, supporting each other. You know, let's at least take a visit to extradimensionalart.com, and I'm going to. That was pretty bad, having to turn it back on and see my hair sticking out. But I'm going to pursue Karen and to come back with me and collaborate again, and then I'll download some images so we can enlarge them, and I'll get with her maybe. I am being a little presumptuous that she'll come on and do it with me.
That'd be great. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's amazing. So I just got to ask too, because when you do the sessions with an individual, is that a graphic piece, a graphic digital piece, or is that a on canvas?
It's a digital piece,
It is,
and
right?
and then I get it printed.
How long does it take you to do the average digital piece from a session? I'm just curious.
Ages, really. I have a really bad tendency not to actually record the amount of time it takes,
Yeah.
and I really need to start doing that. But I don't sit down and work until it's done. I have to take breaks because it's really intense work.
I bet.
So, and at the moment they're taking a wee bit longer because I'm going through some stuff in the family and helping to take care of someone who's quite ill. But yeah, they take anything up to 2 to 3 weeks at the moment.
That's that's a lot of time. People will write me, and they have for quite some time, and they'll say to me, you need to protect yourself. You do all these shows, and you're being exposed to all this stuff. Or how do you do it? And so there is validity to that. People. I know I can make it look easy, but you do 3-4 shows a day, 6 days a week, and that's a lot of energy. It's emerging, and so I realized that even though I'm not a practitioner, in fact, I'm usually more of like the client in these shows, right? But so I realized that there's a lot of energy exchanging, and I'm comfortable with that, and it's taught me a lot. But I would imagine from where you're sitting and with what you do, and given the fact, like for instance, that you spend 2 to 3 weeks on the piece from a session, that you must be picking up a lot of code as you're doing this, because you're basically still connected. You're still connecting to the aspect that that you're drawing, or the team that you're drawing. It's almost like you're in a triad, with the client, you, and then whatever energy complex of the universe that's involved coming through as a single likeness, of the primary aspect, or whatever the case is. But that's a powerful thing. So no wonder you've gotten around the universe a lot. No wonder you have all the detail. Amazing. I know everybody enjoyed it. I don't know if there's anything you want to do before we head out. If you want to sing, dance, do a channel, light language, share your favorite recipe with us, whatever. I don't know. But if there's anything you want to, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think just that message to just to connect with the light is so important right now. Connect with connect through your heart to the light energy, and really feel the strength and the love in there. There's so much chaos going on out there, and I know that everybody's feeling it. So just remember that there is that connection to the universal light energy within all of us, and we can just go within and feel that, and just really connect with it to strengthen that love there to help right now, because
Right
it's
on.
so important.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a Facebook page too, but is it under the? Actually, it is because I put it up, wasn't it? It was Karen.
Yeah, I do.
Karen.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Karen Ellsworth with the name of the
Extra. Yeah.
extra dimensional. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody, check out her website. Hopefully, we can convince her um, by force or flow to come back on the show. And if and when we do it, I'll make sure and download what we want to look at, because quite frankly, after seeing all that, we could probably spend a couple of hours going through each one of them, because they're amazing detail. And if you go to the site, you'll be able to see it. And I'm sure on her Facebook page as well. It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for coming in and honoring us with your presence and staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning. Next time we'll move it. We'll move it up to like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'll just do it later in the evening. I don't want you to stay up that late, but I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure meeting you, and thank you so much.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you too, and thank you for having me on here. It's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely. We'll do it again. Peace out.